When we hear the word Shakespeare, we think of something old, something that isn't fun enough for kids. But in this play, we want to take the old tradition from the old theaters to take a modern turn, breaking down stereotypes and also modernize the old theater. For that, we are glad to announce you that we are going to have the best cast with the best actors possible, the best set with the highest quality production, the best theater, obviously, the Opera House in Sydney, and the best cast. No. We cannot talk about a play if we don't mention the place and time all the action will be taking. It's important to mention that the play will take in 2020 as normally in the Sydney Opera House, but we are taking all the action to the Renaissance period, to an old Europe and to an old period of time in which changes were so important. And as I mentioned before, changes are very important in our play. We're going to take some aspects about that period, for example, changes, because that period was based on changes, like all the actions that we're taking were changes. And also, we want to include aspects from outside as royalty. That was a thing very important for Shakespeare, for all the Shakespeare plays, and for all theater in those days. And so we want to include it because in the Renaissance period that didn't exist.
Okay, let's move on. We already established the timeline and our introduction, so let's continue with our cast. Why we chose this? We can divide it on three main reasons. The first one, inclusivity and diversity. The second one, qualification, and the third one, because we like them and the impact they're gonna have in their future. Okay, so let's start. As Lucas mentioned, for us it's very important to take a modern look to previous work like plays from Shakespeare. We want to modernize it and make it ours from our community. And as we know, our community is so diverse nowadays. So we need to represent that. It's like with Hamilton, for example. Of course, they didn't actually represent it, what it looks like, but they made it something like we can relate nowadays. So that's what we're looking for. So when we chose a cast, we make sure to look back and break certain stereotypes or prejudice we have established throughout the years. So it's gonna be common if you see like an actor playing a female role or vice versa. Okay, so our second point was that they're actually qualified to do the work. Most of them are singers or actors that are recognized worldwide. So they're very good, they're gonna be able to connect with the audience and make them feel comfortable, which is essential when you're doing this kind of presentation kind of thing, like singing or something like that. In this case, is the play, right? So they're good actors, they know how to sing, and they're good performers. So those were some factors in which we base our decision on. And the third point was because we like them and the impact they're gonna have. We like them, that's obvious. Yeah, there's not much to discuss about that. But what about the impact? Yes, because they're gonna have impact. When you introduce this kind of stuff that maybe not everyone is interested on, because why do they care about something that was created decades ago? Normally they don't, because that's not their thing. But sometimes it's good to understand and get to know more about everything, right? So that's why having worldwide known people, it's gonna help. Cause I'm not gonna watch the play to know more about what Shakespeare wrote, because I don't care about him. For example, no, I actually enjoy some of his plays, not every single one, but some of them. And if I see someone that I actually look up for, maybe I'm gonna be like, yeah, I do want to see the play. And therefore, even though I wasn't interested at first in Shakespeare, I'm gonna learn about him and his legacy to the world. So that's why we chose the cast, because it's gonna engage, it's gonna produce, and it's gonna do a well job overall. So let's continue and see the list.
Hi, I will be explaining music and costumes. These elements are really important for our play. Why? Because they will give environment to it. They will help people, or also known as spectators, to understand better the theme of it and know the time and place that we are developing the play in. So, starting for costumes, we chose as designers for our costumes Corey Cincines and Jacqueline Duran. They both are really good designers. Starting by Corey Cincines, he has made lots of costumes for many theater adaptations, such as Matilda, The Secret Garden, and Shakespeare in Love. Also, we have Jacqueline Duran. She has won the Academy Award for the best costume design. Now that we already know the acknowledgements that both of designers have made, we know that we have assured a really good design for our costumes. And we also put in the design section, in the costume section, Leah Blush. She isn't a designer for costumes, but she is an artist. And since we chose the Renaissance as our time and place to work, she knows a lot of the fashion sense of the Renaissance and how people dressed. So combining the knowledge of the Renaissance and these two designers, we will end up with a really good result of costumes that will represent exactly what we want the people to perceive of our play. Moving on to music.
We chose the Sydney Opera Home because we think that this is a pretty good stage with a lot of capacity and it can adapt to any stage. Certainly we chose the thrust type of stage because it is the Shakespearean, and because with this thrust stage we can have a background. And we think that the Sydney Opera Home is a very good place to do our play, because we want the best of the best, and the Sydney Opera Home is the best scenarios we could choose for making the 12th night play. Hello, I am going to talk about what we chose as set props. Basically, the set props is are the scenography. So basically, we hire some people that are like very good in this theme, like arranging the scenario, like putting some items in the scenario for the actors to use them, and actually in their role in the play, they need these set props, like for example with a drunk guy. Basically the set prop for that drunk guy will be like the bottle of alcohol for the public to see, like him with the alcohol. And then as